Press and Novak talk about the new administration on Crossfire tomorrow.
From CNN Center in Atlanta, coverage of Election 2000 continues. Here again, Judy Woodruff, Bernard Shaw, Jeff Greenfield, and Bill Schneider.
Stomachs are tight, palms are moist, and people are walking the floor across the United States of America, still in search for a winner of the White House. Right now, Texas Governor George Bush has a 4 electoral vote lead. He has 246 to Vice President Gore's 242. 4 states undecided. Outstanding. Here they are. Well, first, here they are. Florida, Iowa, Oregon, Wisconsin, with the electoral votes you see in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Governor Bush has 246, as we say. His key to the White House, only 24 more electoral votes. On the left side at the top, Vice President Gore with 242 electoral votes. His key to the White House, just 28 more electoral votes.
And here's the reasons we're all biting our fingernails down to the nubs. Here are the numbers. This is the raw vote with 77% of the precincts reporting across the United States. George W. Bush has 49% of the vote, 39.7 million votes to Al Gore's 48%, 39 million votes plus some. Now let's look at the raw votes in those 4 states that Bernie mentioned. In the state of Florida, with 91% of the precincts reporting George W. Bush at 50%, Al Gore 48%.
To 65,000
65,000 separation. Ralph Nader, 2%, 84,000 votes, and you can see a few votes there for Pat Buchanan and John Hagelin with the Natural Law Party.
That means Nader's vote is bigger than the margin by which Bush is leading Gore. If you assign most of Nader's votes to Gore, you probably get an absolute dead heat in Florida.
Right.
Moving on to the state of Wisconsin, with 76% of the precincts reporting. You don't get a whole lot closer than this. Al Gore, 48%, a little over 1 million votes. George W. Bush, 48%, a little under 1 million votes.
5,000 vote margin. Look at Nader's vote.
And there, Ralph Nader is clearly a factor, I think you have to say. 4% of the vote, 77,000 to a few thousand, give or take, for Pat Buchanan, and 630 for John Hagelin. In the state of Iowa, 93% of the precincts reporting Al Gore ahead, with 49% to George W. Bush's 48%. Look how close. What is it? 8,500 votes approximately.
And look at
Nader's got 5 times that many.
Yeah.
Oh, no, 3 times that many. 3 times that many.
25,000 votes, 2%.
Point is, you talk about the Nader factor. When we come down to these states,
that's right.
What you can see is that in these states, without Nader, it's highly likely Gore gets them all.
And in the state of Oregon, the last one we're going to look at here, 54% of the precincts reporting. This is the state where you could only vote by mail. You could not go to a polling place today. You had to vote by mail or deliver your ballot today. George W. Bush, 49% with 411,000 to Al Gore's 46%, 388,000. What is that, a separation of
22,000 votes?
And Ralph Nader has more than the spread there, 4%, 34, almost 35,000 votes.
And these are mailed-in ballots that had to be in before Election Day.
Yeah.
One point. Very rarely does a third-party candidate have anything like this impact in a race. The people who talk about Perot in '92 costing Bush the White House, the Perot vote split, as our exit poll showed, almost dead even between Clinton and Bush. In this case, with Ralph Nader pulling nationally under 5% of the vote, he clearly has the potential to cost Al Gore the White House, which no third-party candidate, as far as I can tell, has ever done.
And it's important that it is not because Ralph Nader is doing spectacularly well. He is not. He probably won't get the 5% nationally he needs to qualify for federal subsidies. He won't even make 5%. He's doing that because the race is so excruciating close between Gore and Bush.
But Ralph Nader has said throughout this campaign it doesn't matter to him if he costs Al Gore the election. I mean, his argument is there's not a dime's worth of difference between these two parties. Clearly, Al Gore and a lot of Democrats disagree with that, but that is his contention.
Consider just one other thing. At the start of this race, We all thought Florida was securely in Bush's camp. We all thought the Dukakis states were clearly in Gore's camp. Neither of those things have been true, and that's why we're here at 1 o'clock in the morning wondering who the president's going to be.
Yeah.
All right.
Think about what must be going through the minds of the candidates.
Oh, yeah.
How'd you like to be, George Bush or Al Gore?
Or Al Gore at this hour. And speaking of the candidates, let's go now to our correspondents who know these candidates as well as